Greetings, friends. Happy Thursday. The word for today is vulnerability. And vulnerability is a word and a quality that I've been intentionally working with on a daily basis, especially for the past couple of weeks. And vulnerability was a big part of my full moon personal message, and it's been unfolding over the last couple of weeks in really rich ways. And I'm bringing it forward today because this is we today enter the final 5 degrees of Scorpio, and also the last couple of days preparing for the new moon in balsamic phase. So there's a strengthening and a deepening and a condensing, coming together of all these deep energies of emotional authenticity and deep connection that we receive through Scorpio. And what I've been learning in my own journey and in conversations with you in our community is the power that lies within vulnerability and the requirement, the prerequisite that we have to let go of our defenses, and we have to be available to be honest and authentic with ourselves about the defenses we hold against ourselves and others. And only in releasing those defenses, which are often adaptations we learned for survival, there's no blame here. All of our defenses we have for good reason. They're totally logical, and we acquired them in times when they were of service, and it just means that now anything that now becomes a defense is outdated for the frequency and or time in which we're living. So sometimes we don't even have to understand where the defenses came from. We just need to be willing to take ownership for our defended responses to our circumstances. And the risk that we take is to become vulnerable. And so I've been really holding space for the last couple of weeks for myself and in conversations with all of you about what vulnerability means and how it is the superpower of Scorpio and what we can learn from it right now in terms of all that we're bringing forward and the ways in which we're expanding so rapidly. So the big message of vulnerability that that we've been receiving is through the alchemy of transformation. And you might remember the image of butterfly that came up a couple of days ago around the alchemy of the transfiguration of form that's happening and how vulnerable we are when we're in that cocoon of complete metamorphosis. So here's the superpower message of vulnerability today and the love that's coming to each of you. When we're in that cocoon of vulnerability, we are absolutely being held by Source, and the quality of Source that holds us is the Source aspect of the Divine Mother, the container that envelops us, the womb that protects us, the womb that nurtures us, the literal amniotic fluid that's represented by the ocean, the Amma, the mother, Yemaha, the mother of the sea that holds us in our preparation for new birth. So no matter how vulnerable we are and how exposed we feel, we are absolutely being held. Our job is to trust that we're being held as we expand into our new superpowers and into our new form and into our new being. So there's a huge quality of trust that's required, and we need to use our muscles of willpower to have the courage to be vulnerable. So let me drop in and see if there's anything else before I share the synchronicity of the spread I just pulled. Well, that's all for today. So the courage to be vulnerable, hold your own curiosity for the messages that you are receiving about what defenses are up for you to release, what's holding you back from the new qualities and the power of vulnerability. Vulnerability means being able to be totally present in the moment, totally available, and know that you are safe and secure at the same time. So there's a great synchronicity. We talked a lot about this last night, and it came up completely in the new moon spread that I just pulled a few minutes ago. And then I looked at the message for the final 5 degrees of Scorpio, and it is 100% describing this quality. We just today are entering the final 5 degrees, and the overall theme of the final 5 degrees is commitment to inner calm and the ability to come to equanimity with all the comings and goings of life. And then it's specifically, I have to read this, how the universe supports us. I wrote this out with, if we commit to love and allegiance to inner truth and wholeness, then the universe shows up. There's a form of cosmic support that shows up for us to hold us. That's the womb of the Divine Mother, the container of the Divine Mother. When we commit to love and allegiance to our inner truth and to wholeness, then the universe shows up in a form of intercession, of cosmic support, until our own new personal faith and trust is stabilized, until our new grids are stabilized, until our new expanded next level of form is stabilized. So this is synchronicity for you to trust that you are being held and that you can dare to be vulnerable and know that your only job is to use that power of will to commit to trust, even when it doesn't feel good. Then your job's to ask for help and know that it's there. So I'm going to share a final piece right now, which is like a joke that the universe played on me. And so I asked for what deck to pull a message for you from this morning, and I was shown to use the animal spirit cards. And this deck from Kim Krans that we love. And there are some cards I'm familiar with and some animal medicine that is not what I normally pick. And so I thought, well, I'd like to pull this spontaneously, but I sort of feel like I should be prepared. So I should pull it before the message. So is there an affirmation of this? And so then, I asked for an affirmation of whether or not I could trust the meaning in the cards without having to pull it first. And here's the message that came up. So it's the perfect message for all of us. And this is about trusting vulnerability, because I just realized this, because pulling a card from a deck where I haven't even seen all the cards yet myself, is vulnerable for me, because what if in performance of giving you the message, I'm not familiar with what comes up. So it was just a lack of trust that came from uncomfortable vulnerability, where the question came from. And so the response I got from the universe is so awesome. So I cut the cards. They're here as they were a minute ago before I talked to you after I shuffled. So when I pulled, I felt in this, they came apart this way, and I felt in this hand, this card is the message to you, and then the top card in this deck is the message for the group. So this card, when I looked at it, is the message for me is hyena. And this is totally like the universe laughing at me for not trusting my own ability. And there are lots and lots of ways we could go into this, but there's like a sense of humor here, and also the willingness to take action and assert with confidence, and release need to be right and wrong, and do what needs to be done. So anyway, I loved that. And then the message for all of us was the next card on the top, which is butterfly. So of course we know what this is, and of course the universe sent a message with which we're familiar because it's the message for right now. And it's the alchemy of what we've been working with all year, and especially in these last few days of Scorpio, the quality of metamorphosis and transfiguration that keeps coming up over and over. So I'm bringing that forward, both with that message and also my own learning today, to trust and be okay with being a little bit uncomfortable when you're on your own leading edge of what you're learning, because that's where the juicy growth is. So have a great day. Explore vulnerability, celebrate vulnerability, and find out new ways for what your experience of vulnerability can be, and how you can learn about your power by stepping into new places. And I'll see you again soon.